Well, good morning, everybody. It's Monday morning, and welcome to Penn Vicarage. Great to see you. Hope you've had a lovely weekend, and thank you for joining us for our Bible reflection for today, continuing our adventure through the book of Proverbs. And today we're in chapter 6. So here we go, Proverbs chapter 6. My child, if you have given your pledge to your neighbor, if you've bound yourself to another, you are snared by the utterance of your lips, caught by the words of your mouth. So do this, my child, and save yourself, for you have come into your neighbor's power. Go, hurry and plead with your neighbor. Give your eyes no sleep and your eyelids no slumber. Save yourself like a gazelle from the hunter, like a bird from the hand of the fowler. Go to the ant, you lazy bones, consider its ways and be wise. Without having any chief or officer or ruler, it prepares its food in summer and gathers its sustenance in harvest. How long will you lie there, O lazy bones? When will you rise from your sleep? A little slumber, a little folding of the hands to rest, and poverty will come upon you like a robber, and want like an armed warrior. A scoundrel and a villain goes around with crooked speech, winking the eyes, shuffling the feet, pointing the fingers, with perverted mind and devising evil, continually sowing discord. On such a one calamity will descend suddenly, in a moment damage beyond repair. There are 6 things that the Lord hates, 7 that are an abomination to him: haughty eyes, a lying tongue, and hands that shed innocent blood, a heart that devises wicked plans, feet that hurry to run to evil, a lying witness to testify falsely, a one who sows discord in the family. My child, keep your father's commandment, and do not forsake your mother's teaching. Bind them upon your heart always, tie them around your neck. When you walk, they will lead you. When you lie down, they will watch over you. When you awake, they will talk with you. For the commandment is a lamp, and the teaching a light, and the reproofs of discipline are a way of life, to preserve you from the wife of another, from the smooth tongue of the adulteress. Do not desire her beauty in your heart, and do not let her capture you with her eyelashes. For a prostitute's fee is only a loaf of bread, but the wife of another stalks a man's very life. Can fire be carried in the bosom without burning one's clothes? Or can one walk on hot coals without scorching the feet? So is he who sleeps with his neighbor's wife. No one he touches who will go unpunished. Thieves are not despised who steal only to satisfy their appetite when they are hungry. Yet if they are caught, they will pay sevenfold. They will forfeit all the goods of their house. But he who commits adultery has no sense. He who does it destroys himself. He will get wounds and dishonor, and his disgrace will not be wiped away. For jealousy arouses a husband's fury, and he shows no restraint when he takes revenge. He will accept no compensation and refuses a bribe, no matter how great. And this is the word of the Lord. Thanks be to God. So, my friends, this chapter is described by a commentary, as I'm looking at last night, as called Pitfalls for the Unwary. You know, it's a bit like there are 3 kind of road signs, aren't there? There's round blue ones that tell you things you have to do. There are round red ones that tell you things that you mustn't do. And there are triangular ones that kind of warn you of trouble ahead, like roadworks and that type of stuff, okay? And I think this chapter is, in a sense, what you might call pitfalls for the unwary. So it's the father advising his son, here are a few things which you need to watch out for as you go through life. Verses 1 to 5 are basically, you have to dig up the service book with this one. What it's essentially saying in verses 1 to 5 is, don't put yourself at the mercy of other people. Try not to be beholden to another. This is if you've given your pledge to your neighbor, if you put yourself, if you like, at the mercy of other people, that can be a dangerous thing to do. So if you give your pledge to somebody, then it says you're putting yourself there, if they mess up, for example. So and the advice is quite strong. Save yourself like a gazelle from a hunter. These words are quite strong. So he's saying here, don't let yourself be beholden to other people, and try not to let yourself be beholden to events, things that might happen of which you have no control. So as much as he's saying, I think he's saying here is to say, be in control of your life, have self-control, and don't let yourself be overly put at the mercy of other people if you can avoid it. That's quite strong. Then verses 6 to 11, again, language which I think is quite amusing here, but avoiding laziness. I say, go to the ant, you lazy bones, consider its ways and be wise. I quite like that. The importance of hard work, of being prepared to put the spade work in. I think a lot of people, are lazy, and I don't like, and I think actually in church life as well. I think I would often wonder, and clergy often do wonder, how much more could be done and if people would use the talents that God's given them, if people would give well and give sacrificially and so on of their time and so on. I do wonder how much more could be done. And I think here the advice to unwary here. So the first bit was about not putting yourself at the mercy of other people, but the second one here is about avoiding laziness. Because if we do, our businesses will go down the pan and so on. So 6 to 11 is really about the avoidance of laziness. Then in verses 12 to 15, you have here a warning hearing here what he calls a scoundrel and a villain. Now it's quite interesting here because the word here is the old revised version used to call it the naughty one, or call it naughty. And there's certainly in the Hebrew here, there's certainly an implication here of destructiveness, of evil in here as well. The word is actually Belial, which in the end, in 2 Corinthians 6:15 in the New Testament, where St. Paul essentially uses it as a word for the devil. So here he's talking about avoiding the devil, really, is what he's saying here. The devil who winks the eyes, shuffles the feet, points the fingers. I mean, the Bible describes the devil as being the accuser, pointing the fingers, perverted mind, devising evil, continually sowing discord, and so on. So essentially, he's saying, watch out for the evil one. And then in verses 16 to 19, you have here what he calls 7 things that the Lord hates. And I do think it's very interesting here. What are these things? 7 are an abomination to him. Haughty eyes, people that look down on other people, a lying tongue. I mean, God loves the truth. Jesus said, "I'm the way, the truth, and the life." Hands that shed innocent blood. God cares passionately about the poor. God cares about the needy and the vulnerable. And God hates hands that shed innocent blood. Hearts that devise wicked plans. People that sit there devising wickedness. There are people that do that. Feet that hurry to run to evil. Lying witnesses who testify falsely. The whole system of the country breaks down if people tell lies and people witness falsely. And like this, there's someone who sows discord within a family. Family life is very important, and we are sociable human beings, and we need each other. And it's important that we don't sow discord within families. And so in verses 12 to 15, you have a description of the naughty one, the destructive one, the Belial, the Satan, if you like. And then verses 16 to 19, you have the things about them that the Lord hates. And it's worth just reflecting on those. God hates lies. God hates those who sow discord. God hates those who shed innocent blood. And that tells you a lot about the heart of God, about what God really values. Then in the last few verses 20 to 35, again, you have warnings against adultery in particular, and why you shouldn't do it, and the dangers if you do. But rather than wax on about the dangers of, the smooth tongue of the adulteress and her, being captured by her eyelashes in verse 25, rather than talk about that, what I think is very interesting about these few verses here, and I think there's a really important lesson for all of us, especially those of us who are getting on a bit, and those of us who've been a Christian a long time, and dare I say, for those of us in Christian leadership, it's about the importance of being teachable. I think often in life that we think being taught is something that happened a long time ago. We like to think we know it all. But here we're talking about much of, keep your father's commandments, when you walk, they will lead you, and in a quote from very much like Psalm 119, verse, I think it's 135, for the commandment is a light, a lamp, and a teaching, and the teaching a light, like a lamp to your feet and a light to your path. It's like Psalm 119 in that respect. But it's about the importance of not just being taught in the past, but remaining teachable, and talk about the reproofs of discipline are a way of life. Make sure that we are correctable. Make sure that we're never above someone saying to us, "Look, Ben, you've got it wrong." And that we recognise that we'll have to. We've all got lots to learn. and about the importance of remaining teachable. And I think his advice here to keep us out of adultery and keep us out of being led astray is to make sure that as life goes on, and even if we've been a Christian a long time, to make sure that we remain teachable, that we never think we know it all. That's what haughty eyes are, really. But the importance of remembering that being prepared to listen to someone, as I say, tell us when we've made a mistake and when we've got it wrong, and to be open to correct us. And none of us likes being corrected. We all like to think that we've got it, don't we? But it's about it's really, he's saying it's really important here that we keep the commandments and that we remain teachable. So a fascinating chapter here about the pitfalls for the unwary. The first 5 verses were really about making sure we're not beholden to other people as much as we can. And to some extent in life we have to be, but it's about avoiding that if we can. Making sure we're not at the mercy of events. Verses 6 to 11 about the avoidance of laziness, about making sure that we do what we have to do. We do the tasks that God's given to us and we do them well, and that we work hard. Verses 12 to 15 is about the naughty one, the destructive one, the Satan. And in verse 16 to 19 tells us the 7 things that God hates about them. And again, which tells us about the heart of God, that God hates lies, that God hates those who shed innocent blood, and God hates those who sow discord within families. And finally, the last few verses, apart from a good description as to why adultery is to be avoided, it's about really saying, make sure that the way to avoid it is to make sure that we remain teachable, that we never think that we've got it all, that we're always be prepared to have the courage to let other people say to us, look, Ben, you've got it wrong. Friends, I hope you found that helpful. More tomorrow. God bless you. Thank you for watching. Do please share these messages with your friends. Lots of people find them helpful. I'm sure if you share them, other people will as well. Have a lovely Monday.